So much, Rebecca, and thanks to everyone for coming, and also to SEB for putting this on, and also to my great friend Alice for supporting this. Alice, who introduced herself at the beginning and who everyone here will meet later on, is a fantastic Wikimedian and also the person who taught me to edit Wikipedia. So I think if you ever need an inspiring person in the room, Alice is it. So I thought I'd talk to you very briefly about why I think Wikipedia is so important. Mainly kind of from our role as scientists, I think we have like a few responsibilities, right? One is to make some nice breakthroughs and discoveries. So we're doing that in the lab. You're all doing that with the type of very exciting work that you've discussed so far in all of these different, very diverse biological fields. I think also to inspire a new generation of scientists. You know, we've got so many big challenges that the world is facing, and we really need science and engineering to come up with the solutions to those challenges. And certainly part of what's inspired me to edit Wikipedia is that idea of opening access to science and better telling the story of who does science, and also to promote general scientific understanding and to kind of tackle misinformation, which is rampant in lots of the countries that people on this call are from. So we've got a big fight on our hands. And I think Wikipedia is kind of uniquely placed for us to be able to do these things. It's a phenomenally well-used, well-accessed platform for knowledge sharing, you know, a democratized platform for knowledge sharing, which gets about 1.5 billion devices using it every month, who look at it about 15 billion times. So from a science communication perspective, you can't really think of a more effective way of doing it than doing it on Wikipedia. And I think the kind of beautiful thing about it, from that idea I gave to you before about our role as scientists, is that everyone uses it, you know, irrespective of their political thoughts, irrespective of what stage they're at in their life. Families use it, home assistants, things like Google Home and Amazon Alexa and Siri use Wikipedia. Teachers use it, academics use it, journalists use it, and scientists use it. Scientists use Wikipedia so much. There's actually a fantastic paper which we'll share with you in the chat later, I should have put it before, that looks at the impact that Wikipedia has had, particularly on chemistry research. It's actually done by a couple of computer scientists who take 6 aspects of chemistry or 6 topics of chemistry that aren't on Wikipedia and get their classes to research and write Wikipedia pages about these interdisciplinary science topics. They then upload half of them and don't upload the other half. So it's a kind of randomized control trial. And they search in academic literature for these topics occurring. So they look at how often they're brought up and which pages these cite. And they find that being on Wikipedia is extraordinarily transformational for a field. Wikipedia pages essentially act as like a mini review or a perspective for a science study. And they give a really, really good overview of what's going on. And it's an extraordinarily cost-effective way of communicating science. Editing Wikipedia is free. If your paper is cited on Wikipedia, it's more likely to be cited in academic literature than comparative papers that aren't cited on Wikipedia. So even just on a boosting your citation metrics perspective, it's great to be editing Wikipedia, but also you drive the direction of science, you channel people to a field which they otherwise may not have access to. So I love Wikipedia. You're talking to a bunch of people, you're communicating information that's really, really important, and it's completely free to edit. Despite it being completely wonderful and magnificent, there are a bunch of challenges on Wikipedia. One, which was alluded to in the project that I've taken on, that it has quite a huge gender gap. So if you look at the biographies on this is English language Wikipedia, but this handy link goes to all language Wikipedias, only about 19% of the biographies are about women, despite women making up 51% of the population. Anything about historically marginalized groups. So if you wanted to look up the biography of a Black researcher or engineer, they're much less likely to have a Wikipedia page than their white counterparts. Actually, anything about the global South is pretty poorly documented on Wikipedia. And issues that are constantly changing, things like climate change, it's very hard to keep it up to date to the level of knowledge that people need to access to inform their decisions if we don't keep those Wikipedia pages updated. So I think science is critical to get right on Wikipedia. And I'm really kind of motivated and hopeful that a bunch of scientists will take on to take on this grand challenge. Like was mentioned, I've been writing for the past kind of few years a bunch of different fantastic sensational Wikipedia pages about phenomenal women scientists and scientists of color and engineers and physicists and chemists and psychologists. I've surpassed 1,900, so I'm well on my way to 1,700 to 2,000. But just these people are incredible. And actually what you see when you write Wikipedia pages is how the whole world is ready to hear and to learn these stories. And that's what's really inspiring. That's what's really motivated me. The people I research and write about are amazing. But being able to take their story to the bigger world is just incredible. This is my favorite page to speak about. It's a mathematician called Gladys West. She was born in 1930 in Virginia, and she went to a historically Black college and university. And she basically did the maths for GPS. So she did the maths that told the US Navy where to put the satellites so that they could have GPS technology, so we could have Google Maps or Apple Maps. She was one of the first Black people to work for the government at the time in this particular department, and tackled huge amounts of discrimination to be where she was. And when I wrote her Wikipedia page in February 2018, there was nothing about her online. But I wrote it, I researched it, I used a bunch of kind of community spaces to find the information. And the response has been incredible. So a few months after I put her online, the BBC put her in their top 100 women in the world, which means you get thousands of views every single hour for her Wikipedia page, which is just, I don't know, such an uplift for what you're doing. The Guardian has profiled her in a huge way. She was inducted to the US Air Force Hall of Fame. So at the age of 90, this phenomenal mathematician is joining the US Air Force Hall of Fame. And we have all of these great photographs of her and these amazing things that we can kind of capture and tell her story. She won the Prince Philip Medal and Prize from the Royal Academy of Engineering. So really putting these stories on platforms where people can access them is incredibly transformative for getting that information out there. So I've been thinking about a bunch of things that you can do today that would be really important. And I definitely think writing biographies of scientists and writing about scientists is critical to preserving this knowledge and information. But there are lots of ways that you can do it. I know you'll come to this in the training with Heidi, and Alice will also talk about it. But improving pages that already exist, if you see a page about the scientific area that you work on or about a scientist that you know, improving those pages is critical to maintain the integrity of Wikipedia. Creating links between Wikipedia pages to drive people to learn new things and make discoveries is really fundamental to making sure that the whole pipeline works. Uploading images and diagrams to Wiki Commons is really key. So if you've got some great figures or some great photographs of equipment or processes or your own department where you work, uploading those and giving those as free licensable photographs for the world to use is key. Translating pages, as mentioned, I think we've got Israel, we might have a Portuguese speaker on the call. We definitely could do some really great work in translation. And then finally on creating. Creating is a bit of an investment time-wise, but I do think it's really key and important that we keep generating and sharing this knowledge. We're all really lucky to work in the institutions we do, to have access to this information, to get behind paywalls, and not everyone in the world has that. So I think anything we can do from a science communication perspective that tells those stories is key. I could speak forever, and I don't want to, because you've got learning to do and practical stuff to do. If you have any questions, I'll try and come back later on in the editathon, but you can just email me, jessica.wade@imperial.ac.uk, and I'll try and answer any wiki questions or science communication questions. But for now, have fun. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what you've created. So thanks, fellow Wikimedians.